Hello there, YouTube. Mr. Gibson Guy with you here. I have a very brief tutorial today, and it's on how to fix the problem with a minolta X1, XM, and XK. Those are all different designations of the very same camera. This is one of them. This is an early model, X1, and you have to understand the X1 represents when Minolta did the changeover from an all mechanical cameras to electronic cameras. This is the first of the X series, which are electronic cameras. Leaves the SRTs and the SRs and various older models back in history. This is Minolta moving forward. And this camera, they spared no expenses on. This is one of the most prestigious cameras made. Now, unfortunately, the camera has a bad reputation, and that reputation has a lot to do with the fact that it was very expensive and very exclusive, and they hardly sold any of them. So, all the stuff that you needed to know about this camera, the first of the X series, was kind of dying information. Not many people had the camera, not many people knew how you had to work it, and not many people could pass that on. So nowadays, I bought this out of a camera store. Came just yesterday, came from Japan, but I bought it for $92 because they were under the impression that it was messed up and needed repaired. But there's nothing wrong with it. Nobody seems to understand that what the camera does that they consider a problem was engineered into it. It's something that professional photographers wanted. Now, and say, no, we want a camera that'll lock up the mirror all the time. No, but actually most pros were using cameras that locked up the mirror all the time. And people don't even realize that at this point. But because this was an electronic camera, and Minolta was used to making mechanical cameras, they had certain things they had to learn how to do that worked fine with mechanical cameras, but with electronics it was a challenge. And that's what happened here, because the electronic shutter works when you turn the camera on, like that, and then wind the film, and you're ready to go. But what happens if the camera's off? You've finished your shooting for the day and you're tired of wearing down your batteries, so you turn the camera off, and all of a sudden a bear cub runs right out in front of you and you want to take a picture instantly. Maybe you've got your film wound if you're a pro, you got your lens cap off and your camera's ready to go, and you grab the camera, focus on your subject, push the shutter button, and you made your exposure. The mirror flipped up, the shutter curtains crossed, and everything stopped. That's what used to happen on the Hasselblad 500 cm. It did not have a quick return mirror. When you took a photograph, made an exposure with your Hasselblad, it does it itself electronically after 30 seconds here, but sometimes. But what happened with the Hasselblad was your mirror pops up and blacks out your viewfinder. And when you go to wind it back, it resets the mirror, resets the shutter, and winds the film to the next exposure. So they kind of did a variation on that. This one, the mirror flips up, the shutter crosses, and then, I'll do it again so you can see this, wind the film, make an exposure, it's stuck up there, and down beneath, you put a nickel in here, in the battery cover, compartment cover, and turn it. You hear that? Then you set it back. That resets the mirror. And when you look inside the battery cover, you see it's a hole in there, and on this side and this side there's a little arm sticking out, and a little arm sticking out from the compartment cover like this, and they grab them and they do this, and that resets the mirror for the camera. Now this one, these things sit for decades. This camera's 50 years old, and that's why stuff gets more stuck like that. I've been working this one out, and what happens is after you do that for a while, it starts really working like it's supposed to. And then as you sit there, it'll sit there for a certain time, then the mirror will pop back down and it's ready to wind and go again. But not many people know that's how you reset the mirror in this camera. So these cameras are a pretty good bargain right now. If you know the secret about how to reset the mirror, there, see, it did it itself. If you know how to reset the mirror yourself, then you can get one of these and you can have one of the finest cameras ever made and get it for a bargain basement price. This is one of the toughest cameras ever made, and as we've seen, the whole idea of it being an unreliable camera or a poor camera or a camera to avoid, that's just if you don't know how to work it. You keep the thing turned on when you need to take pictures, and none of that stuff will ever happen. It flips right back where it's supposed to. It doesn't stick unless you try to use the camera when it's turned off. All right, I hope that was useful information for you. I'm Mr. Gibson Guy, and I'll see you on the next one.